Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network. Can you believe it's Friday already? It seems like it was just Monday, like yesterday. Maybe that's just because I'm getting older. I don't know. Can anybody relate? But excited to be with you all today. Excited to introduce you to our wonderful guest. I was going to say this morning, but see, again, older. It's afternoon already. It's getting away from me. But I think you're really going to be encouraged, inspired, and moved right here today at a heart level. I think you're going to be truly moved. At least that's what I anticipate. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and read you Danielle's bio and introduce you to her, and we'll get started. So, growing up on a cattle ranch in Montana as the oldest of four girls, Danielle Rambur learned the values of hard work, resilience, and faith. In 2014, she was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer and faced the deepest trials of her life. But on Easter Sunday, 2015, a message of hope at Red Rocks Church reminded her that God's silence is not his absence. That moment marked a turning point, leading her into holistic healthcare and a mission of serving others. Now, celebrating 11 years cancer free, amen, Danielle is the author of Grit and Grace Embrace the Call to Shine. She's also a speaker and a wellness entrepreneur. She was recently featured in the docuseries Biohack Yourself and leads the Waymakers team at Centropix, helping families, clinics, and barns access breakthrough wellness technology. Danielle's passion is simple yet powerful: to share love and light, inspiring others to find beauty in brokenness and hope in every season. So good. Danielle, welcome to the Your Worthy Network.
Oh, thanks for having me, Steve. It's just such a pleasure to be here. I love everything you're doing to create joy, positivity, and hope in the world. And I feel very honored to be here today to share my journey.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you for sure. So tell us a little bit about the beginnings of that journey. You grew up in Montana. I've never technically been to Montana. I've heard it's beautiful, it's stunning. I know people that, a matter of fact, I was just talking to somebody yesterday that drove through it. I have been to Yellowstone, so maybe I touched the border barely. But tell us about life growing up in Montana.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I lived in eastern Montana, right along the North Dakota border. So grew up on a cattle ranch, and so it was hard work. Our life was cows. So I think I learned that resiliency pretty early on. It's really cold there in the winter, so it can get up to 60 below zero. So that wasn't for me. So I slowly started moving away from that. But yeah, it was an amazing place to grow up in. Great people, great community. And yeah, I moved to North Dakota to attend college at Dickinson State University, where I got a degree in elementary education, a minor in psychology. And yeah, just moved a few hours away. And I had a son at a young age. He is now 28 years old. So yeah, it's just been a journey. I then left there to go to Colorado. I went for a little warmer weather and was there for 11 years. And now I'm currently in Florida, Southwest Florida. So I've been there for 5 years and truly loving it. But I'm calling in today from Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas currently. I call it a D's Wellness Wanderlust. I hit the road for anywhere from 5 to 7 months and share my products, change lives, and just work with people who are willing to bring these amazing tools into their clinics, into their practices, and into their homes and barns. So it's just been a blessing.
I love that. So you took the gradual route of going southern. You
Hmm.
didn't make the jump all at once.
No, no, I took my time. Colorado's a beautiful, beautiful place. I do love Colorado. However, during the lockdowns of COVID, I'm very social, and I couldn't handle that. So I thought, well, I've been wanting to go to Florida when I was sick. That was a very special place for me. So I had always vowed to move there one day. And so that was kind of my kick in the pants to get down there and make it happen.
Yeah, I'm like you. I like the southern climate much better. By the way, for all you listening in the northern climates, we love you guys. We respect you guys. It's just a, individual things. 7 years of being in the Midwest and a lot of cold, a lot of snow, and a lot of gray. It was good to be back south again. But we love everybody in every climate. So tell us a little bit about the work you do with the wellness company and the wellness products that you have.
Yeah, so I mean, I never actually went into my degree into teaching. I worked many jobs. I'm very heart-centered, and so I was always trying to find a job that I could help people and truly just feed my heart. And I knew that's where God had me. So I was a realtor when I got sick, and after I was sick, I went on a healing journey and I found a holistic psychologist actually in Sedona, Arizona, that introduced to me energy medicine. And at that point, I felt like I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. I was 100 pounds soaking wet.
Mm,
I had left a relationship. My son was dealing with some addiction issues, and I was just in a dark place. I knew God had something for me. From that church Sunday, the full message was God's silence is not an indicator of his absence. Hold on, he's got a plan for you. You just can't see it yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put on my big girl panties again, and it gave me the hope, right? Okay, I'm gonna find that, right? And I just knew that if I could turn my pain into my purpose, that it would help heal me from what I had just gone through. But the goal, of course, was to serve and heal others. So when I was introduced to this technology, I was in a position where I was going to have another surgery again. And I just bought it. It was $6,000. And in 4 days, it literally changed my life. I didn't have to have that surgery. In several months, I was off all pharmaceuticals, and it just was a nudge from the Lord that this was what I was made to do. So I joined forces with the company and just started sharing the gift. Those people up there in the Midwest are some of the hardest working people I know, rain or shine, 50, 60 below zero or 100 degrees, right? They're always out there working. And so that's where I started. And it was just amazing to see people's lives changed. And it just truly gave me a knowing, I guess, and just such a passion and a purpose to go out because I was in a dark place, Steve, when I was sick. I didn't want to be here anymore. I was done. I was tired of fighting 7 surgeries, 8 rounds of chemo. I lived at altitude and I couldn't breathe. I was on oxygen for 5 months, and I
mm,
was so tired and just done because everything I was doing wasn't working. And then everything around me personally was failing. The people I loved the most were hurting, and then I was hurting because of that. So I was in a dark place. But when I realized that God did have something for me, and I held on to that hope, I just went looking for it and praise the Lord that I found it in Sedona. And so, yeah, that was in 2016, and I started sharing it. And it's just an in-home medical device that you sit on for 15 minutes twice a day, and it helps the body heal itself. And it's just been so miraculous for me to see the stories that happen just because of me sharing this gift with them. And the way I say it is, God designed our bodies to heal themselves. The body knows how to heal itself, but the body doesn't have the energy to heal itself. And we're surrounded by so many outside resources that are affecting that. And that's why people are so tired all the time, and people are getting sicker and sicker. And so just like, we have our cell phone and it's at 1%, we freak out, right? We've got to go find a charge. Well, that's what's happening to our bodies. So by sitting on a mat for a little bit every day, it's charging our cells and allowing our body to do as God intended, and that's to heal itself. So that's my main focus. We have some other products, and I work with horses and cattle as well. So I'm bringing back my roots of growing up on a cattle ranch, which is just fun because there's no placebo with animals. They just show you, they just tell you. And we're all skeptics, right? So it's fun to work with animals.
Yeah, there's that's so good. Like I was sitting there thinking when you said that about the phone going down to 1%, we probably should let it go to zero more often intentionally, right?
I full-heartedly agree to that.
Oh, so let me take you back for just a minute because I
Hmm.
definitely want to get into the book here in a second.
Hmm.
Um, can you describe the variety of emotions that you processed upon hearing this news, this devastating news,
Hmm.
potentially devastating news? Thank
Hmm.
God it wasn't.
Hmm.
Um, but I can't fathom what you must have been feeling immediately after hearing this news.
Hmm. Yeah, I grew up in the church. But I can't say I fully was in relationship with Jesus at that time. But when I heard the news, I guess I wasn't sad or depressed or anything. I just, my growing up is just cowboy up, I got this, it'll be fine, so that's kind of
Mm,
the attitude I took. I'm like, I've got this. And so I just started going through the motions. One of my best friends had gone through it a year earlier. She was a nurse practitioner in oncology. So I just went and did what she was telling me to do. But of course, things weren't happening that easy for me. So I just kept getting, I felt like I was chasing doctors. And I was really sick for a really long time. So that's when the enemy definitely got in my mind. I was alone a lot, and that wasn't healthy for me either. I was just so tired of fighting. So it started out good, but then, like I said, Easter Sunday, Red Rocks Church changed my life, and I will be forever grateful. And I feel, so that person had been inviting me to church for a long time. And I wish I would have went sooner. I wish I would have got my son there sooner, but that's just the power of inviting people to church, and it's part of who I am
yeah.
now. I'm always inviting, and I'll invite you until you tell me to stop inviting you to go to church with me. Because of what it did for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the diagnosis, I wasn't too upset. It was just literally as things just kept hitting me again and again and again is where it got bad.
That makes total sense. And that I think that's a huge window, I would imagine, into your personality. Like
Hmm.
a lot of folks are devastated when they hear that news. They're emotional. I'm not that you didn't have emotions, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Um, might even tend to throw in the towel. And they may
Hmm.
have periods of up and down, but like your immediate response was, okay, let's fight.
Yeah.
And I love that about your character.
Yeah.
So that's I think you mentioned earlier, how many different surgeries did you have?
There were 7 surgeries in 15 months. So yeah, 4 to my chest, put into full menopause, 8 rounds of chemo, all of that within 15 months. And the problem, which I didn't understand it at that time and nobody told me, was living at 8,000 feet. So my body just was not responding very well. And I couldn't breathe. I was in the hospital for 5 days, on oxygen for 5 months, never smoked a day in my life. So it was until I went to Florida, my friend said, come down here, we'll fatten you up because I just couldn't gain weight for anything. But when I got to sea level, that's when I started feeling good. And I could just could sit on that beach and I felt the Lord. And that was 2015. I said, I'm going to move here one day. Well, in 2021, I was able to make it happen. Not without a few hurricanes later, and some big disasters, but I love it. I made it there, and it's just an amazing family I have there in Florida.
I love that. What year were you declared cancer free?
It was November 3rd, 2015. So I'll be 11 years on November 3rd.
So you fought it
Mhm.
daily for 4 years.
It was about 2 years until I got the device, and that's when I started getting better. Yeah, it was 2 years is when yeah, got the device, and then things started changing all around, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and then financially as well.
Remarkable. I'm so moved and impressed by your resolve, resiliency, tenacity, any other word in that family you want to throw in. It's just remarkable, and it's a great testimony of God's faithfulness.
Hmm.
And we tell people in the You Are Worthy network that God's not done with your story yet, and
Amen.
you personify that. So thank you for being that example for us. Is the journey with the cancer the inspiration for your book, Grace and Grit, or is it more than just that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it adds to it, but really Grace and or Grit and Grace is more of just a testimonial of what God's done in our life. I co-authored it with my friend Diane Castle, and it's just more encouragement for women. It was meant as a women's devotional, but I can tell you a lot of men love it as well. But we embrace the call to shine because women, I think mainly, sometimes feel like they were put down, they're squished down, they're meant to be kept small. But we are daughters of the King and we should shine bright. And when we shine that bright, we don't have to shove Jesus down everyone's throat, but we can show people who he is in and through our love for them. And so the goal in this was to really lift women up and help them understand that the saying, let grace guide you, grit strengthen you, and God's love empower you. So it's just, it's a brief, 3 or 4 pages every week, an easy read. And I wanted to put worship in it. That was really important to me. I listen to worship every morning. Worship is warfare. It just puts that gratitude in your heart. It gets you going in the right way. So each chapter, which is based on scripture, has worship with it, as well as I am affirmations and quotes. So it's just, it's something different that I guess I hadn't seen anything like that out there. And I wanted to do something different. And we've been getting quite a few good reviews, so much so that there will be a second one coming out as well, in which we are going to allow women to write a chapter in this book. So not only do we want them to embrace the call to shine, but if we can publish them in a book and make them a best-selling author, they will feel that shine. And so Grit and Grace 2 will be called Her Story, His Glory. So there's
Oh
52
my goodness.
chapters. Yep. 52 chapters based on scripture. So if a woman would like to, write a chapter, they would just pick, some of them, the power of self-love, embracing your worthiness, right? Like that's what we're talking about. That's chapter 1 for us in this book, because honestly, that's the most foundational out of everything, because we knew just right from the start that you're not going to be able to receive the other messages in the book unless you're embracing your own worthiness and your own God-given value. And so many people don't. So, if you hinge that on that core truth and you learn to look in the mirror not through the world's lens, but through the eyes of your creator, and you truly love yourself, you're going to feel worthy, you're going to feel loved, and you're going to feel enough in God's eyes. So that's one chapter, celebrating your purpose, the power of sisterhood, living in the light of truth, spiritual warfare. I mean, there's all these things. So yeah, that I think is going to be just a beautiful book where we can really empower other women and get them published, and then maybe they can get out there and write their own book, encouraging them to do that.
I love that. And I know that's targeted towards women,
Hmm.
but tell us why men should check it out.
Oh, well, I mean, just take the WO off woman and keep it men. But I mean, I think it all comes in the same, right? We all need it. We all need self-love. We all need worthiness. We all, so I think I've sent it to a few men who just absolutely love it. Embracing change, seasons of growth. We all go through that, right? Many
Yeah.
times. The power of worship, drawing close to God. I think it's just great for anyone. And I think after we do her story, his glory, we'll have to do his story and his glory. So we'll have to do another one for men to write a chapter.
Yeah, it definitely has the potential to keep growing and growing. I can see that. Do you
Yeah,
happen to have a copy of the book nearby?
I do. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah, there you go, right there. Perfect.
yeah.
We'll include that in the how to find that in the show notes too. Is it on Amazon or is it just on your website? How does that work?
Yep, we self-published on Amazon, so you can find it on Amazon, and it's Grit and Grace, Embrace the Call to Shine. Yeah, it turned out really well. It was about 2 years in the making because Diane lives in Dallas and I live in Florida, and we had to really come together and just sit down to make it happen. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I'm excited for what's to come because it's all really about sharing testimonial, bringing people closer to Christ, and giving them that faith over fear, literally.
Yeah, I love that. Can you tell us, I know this is going to be hard to narrow it down, but since that day in 2015, at that church you were describing, um, tell us how life has changed.
Mm. Oh boy. Well, I think a big part of it, once I realized I was kept alive for a reason, I had another instance too. My doctors had me on some medications you should never be on together, and I almost overdosed. So there's two
Mm,
times where I didn't think I was going to be here. And when he kept me here, I just knew I had to find out why and share that with people. So I think really what's changed, one, I'm living a life I never dreamed or I could have ever imagined, right? Like I would say I was kept small or put in that box, where I'm not settling for that. I am a disciple. I am a fisher of men. I was pulled out of the darkness into the light, and I am obligated to go find those people in the darkness and do the same. And I think, my career, the company I work with is just a tool to do that because yes, I'm providing life-saving, life-changing products and I'm changing people's lives. But every single conversation, Steve, starts with what happened to me Easter Sunday. Every single conversation. So to me, a lot of it's about discipleship and service. But yeah, I've grown. I've traveling across the world, doing things I never dreamed I ever would be doing, and just changing lives. And it's become such a blessing to really come into who I believe He called me to be.
it's amazing what God does with a life that surrenders to Him
Mm-hmm.
and just says, "Here am I, send me, use
Yeah.
me for your
Yep.
purposes." It's all grounded in gratitude
Mm-hmm.
for His plan, His loving plan of sending Jesus to take our place at Calvary on that cross.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you have the opportunity to speak,
Mm-hmm.
what's one of the favorite things that you like to speak about?
I love sharing that story just because I don't know who out there is dealing with that kind of darkness, or, there could be someone that's dealing with something. I mean, I've been very vulnerable on other parts of my life that I won't get into here, but that some people probably wouldn't talk about because it can be an embarrassment, of extreme hurt. But when I share that in a small group, I can see a woman that, it's helping. But I really just, for me, it's that day, that Easter Sunday, it doesn't matter what you're going through. I thank God for my cancer. Can you believe that? I didn't want to live, but I thank God for my cancer because of what I'm doing now and the places He's put me and the people He's put in front of me. And He's growing me closer to Him. And then this book, I mean, just another way to share glory for Him and what He's doing in my life. And I just have a heart for serving others and giving back. And when you look at the whole worthy part of things, it's like, we grow up a lot of times thinking that we have to earn our worth, whether it
Yeah.
be through our family or through the church or whatever, but we don't have to earn our worth. We're born with worth, and when I started believing that I was worthy, that's when my healing began, right? And so I don't know, it's just I love sharing, that story of how God brought me through, but then, with my products, I tell people don't wait for illness to start valuing wellness. I was 37 years old. My body was ripped to pieces. I was in a dark place. I don't want anyone else to deal with what I went through. And preventatively, there's lots of ways you can do that out there. So it can happen to anyone. I'm still blessed to be here today by the grace of God. But I want to really save that from happening to other people in any way I can.
Wow, you said a couple of things in there. I want to make sure I heard right. You said something to the effect of when you embraced your worthiness, that's when life began. Did I catch that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us a little more about that.
Well, the first chapter, of course, is self-love, the power of self-love. And there's so many difficulties in that. I think for so many people, it could be because of how your parents treated you, or maybe someone in school, or your grandparents, or a job, or, there's so many ways that we are treated that affect how we love ourselves, right? And then that affects us feeling worthy. And so the lies of the enemy, right, will bring all of those things up from the past and feelings of not
Mhm.
good enough. And it's just an endless cycle of comparison, right? But when we really get true and get real with yourself, you have to let God speak those same truths into you, right? What are God's truths? And when you listen to those things, is that of God or is that of the enemy? And it can be really uncomfortable, I think, to be vulnerable. But it's also very healing because you're not the only one. You're not the only one going through it. There's so much more. The people are going through so many worse things. And just realizing that my worth isn't defined by who I am, what I do, what others think I am, but it's simply by who I am in Christ. And, I just hope women, can see themselves in the struggle because we all face it. No matter how put together we may look on the outside, every time I reread that chapter on self-love, it's like looking in a mirror. And it's a reminder that even on my worst days, I'm still chosen, I'm still loved, and I'm still enough because of Jesus. And I have those days. I have those days very often. And I'm not afraid to say that. I think, the more we speak up, the more people can feel like they can speak up and they can talk about things. Because the way I grew up, it's like, be seen, not heard, right? Deal with it, cowboy up, right? I mean, that's just that was the lifestyle. But I've changed that, and that's the blessing in this.
Yeah, I love the transformation. You also said that you're grateful for the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Um, I had a guest earlier this week that didn't deal with cancer, but dealt with some very, very challenging things in her life. And one of the mindsets that she's adapted from those horrific experiences is that it didn't happen to her,
Mm-hmm.
it happened for her.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a very similar mindset when it comes to cancer.
Yeah, 100%. God doesn't waste one tear, one diagnosis, or one heartbreak. It can become part of your calling, if you let it. And for me, that's what I was going for. I was going to find it. It took me some time to find it, but when I did, Katie barred the door. I wasn't going to stop. I knew it. And I think that's the first time I've ever known that something was truly from God. Like I wasn't going to stop. And um, yeah, and the battle, the battle's never just about you. It wasn't about me. It was truly about the lives I would one day touch. And of course, the enemy wanted to shut me down. Not
Yeah,
today,
I'm
Satan, not today.
not today. Get behind me.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm sure that even when you physically were at your worst, you had lost all the weight and we've had all these surgeries and all these medications interacting with each other. And oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I'm sure deep down in your heart, you were like, okay, God, I see the vision. I
Mhm.
see the mission that you're putting out before me. Okay, you've got to heal me so I can get to it. So I'm sure even though physically you couldn't yet, in your
Mhm.
heart and in your mind, you just couldn't wait to get better. Would that be accurate?
Oh, for sure. And I was still dealing with a lot of stuff. I left a relationship. I had a child that was an addict.
Mm.
I'm in limbo. What am I gonna do? There was just so many unknowns. But because I had that interaction, I had that faith. And my acronym, I think I shared this with you, but faith over fear. My acronym, and we know fear is false evidence appearing real, but faith is fantastic adventures in trusting Him. And that was my motto. It's like I'm just going to trust. I'm right where I need to be today. I'm going to trust. And part of, how I operate my business, I just pray every morning. Lord, bring me the people that are open and willing that I can help today in whatever way you want me to, right? And it happens. So it's just having that faith, that trust.
Yeah, I love that. Tell us that acronym again.
Faith is fantastic adventures in trusting Him.
I got to write that down.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Fantastic adventures
In trusting.
in trusting. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that. So when you talk about your company, is
Mhm.
that the wellness products or do you have a more encompassing business in addition to that?
Nope, I'm just working with the wellness products. Yeah. I have a team of over 250 people. I've got about 20 clinics right now, using the products and sharing it. So, yeah, my goal is just to continue to build that and to have, it's called the cloud, Centropix Cloud, to have a cloud in every home and every barn, and to change the way people age, to age gracefully and to age healthy.
Wow, I love that.
Mhm.
Um, you're just making a dent all over the place, which is what we're all supposed to be doing that are following Jesus for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, so you gave us a little hint of what's to come with the next book and
Mhm.
even potentially beyond that.
Mhm.
Uh, what else is next? I feel like there's more, and usually there is.
Yeah.
God doesn't always show us what's next, but I always equate the mysteries of God, if you will, as like a puzzle.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's a long time in between. Giving you one piece and the next piece. Sometimes he gives you a nice couple of corner pieces. Sometimes he gives you 5 or 6 pieces all at once, enough to see where it's going, but he
Mm.
won't give you the whole picture. What's he showing you about the future?
Yeah, well, something that's on my heart that I don't know because my son would be involved with that as well. But he's 1 year sober now. I'm very proud of him. He's got a good job and a home, and that he went through the darkness. And I actually, when we were together this summer, I had him pick a chapter, and we did a Facebook Live on that chapter together. And let me tell you, his name's Matthew. He spoke so well on what God has done in his life. And I was just blown away at how well he spoke. And I've been feeling this for many, many years is for him to share his journey because it was dark. 10 years of addiction and lots of time on the streets. There's a lot of things that happened that no one should ever have to go through. But he found the Lord. He's been baptized, and I envision what I would love to have is for me and him to speak together, whether it be at high schools. I think that's probably the age range that maybe you could make an impact on others. But that would be my heart is for us to do some things together, whether it be speaking, maybe we write a book together. I don't know. But we went through it on a really, really high level, and we're coming out. And I just know that God has so much more from him. And yeah, I know there's more beauty to come out of what we've both gone through. So I'm just kind of praying for that. If that's where I'm meant to be, that will be shown to us.
You have got to be so proud
I
of
am.
him and so grateful to God for
Mm,
plucking him out of the muck and the mire.
hmm It's as a mother, and a single mother, doing it myself, it was one of the hardest things I've
Mm,
ever had to go through, not knowing if he's alive, not knowing.
mm,
I mean, the things, and he's very heart-centered, and he thought he was going to lose his mom, and so that's just what
mm.
happened. So just to see him come out of that and find the Lord, and he was even, he had to go to jail, and he was leading Bible studies there and Bible groups, and I'm like, oh, that's
Wow.
my boy, you know.
Wow.
It's just been a gift. And so that's what I pray for. That might not be what happens, but in time we will know. And I always say, your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's prison. So everybody has a story. And sometimes people have stories. I've had people share with me their story that they'd never shared with anyone. And I encourage them to write a book. And I know one has, and the other one may. But you never know who else may be dealing with the same thing you went through. So, you don't have to have all the answers, but when you're vulnerable and you're honest, God can use your testimony as such a powerful tool. It can break chains, it can inspire faith, and just remind other people that hope is real. Hope is real. And even in the messiest times of our lives, yeah.
Okay. I was just about to ask you in a couple minutes what you would leave our audience with as words of encouragement today, but I don't have to ask that question
Oh,
because you just summed it up with
mm,
hope is real.
yeah.
Now, I'm still going to let you though, because the spirit may move, but hope is real. Hope is still very much alive.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were talking, I'll take it back here for just a second. As you were talking about, encouraging other women to write books and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what God's will is, but there's certainly Matthew has a story. Matthew has a book if he wanted to, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, Danielle, just like you're super proud of him,
Mm-hmm.
I know he must be super proud of you too. That's special what y'all have gone through together.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I don't know if I'm the first, I don't know, but I'll put it out there that if it's God's will and you guys ever see a desire to do it, I'd love to interview both of you together at some
Oh,
point if
that would
you'd
be
be
great.
interested in that. Yeah,
Yeah, that
that'd
would
be
be
special for
awesome.
me just to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we are about to wrap up, and I just want to thank you for. I just want to thank you for being you.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your vulnerability. I want to thank you for your heart to tell people about Jesus, to tell about what the Lord has done in your life. Thank you for the way you're serving people. Thank you for your tenacity and your resilience. Just thank you for who God created you to be and that you're giving the gift back, the
Mm.
gift of life back. I just want to say thank you. Any words of wisdom for the audience before we head our separate ways here?
Well, first, I also want to thank you because this platform you've created is so needed in times like these. And I know it takes a lot to put it all together, but God is definitely using you on a very high level. So I just truly want to thank you for that. And yeah, last, this is a quote by Rumi, but it says, "The wound is where the light enters you." And another one he says is, "Only from the heart can you touch the sky." And so, with that wound, the light that entered me, the light of Jesus, and now with my heart, I'm touching the sky. And I just think it's such a beautiful quote.
That is inspiring indeed. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you again, Danielle, for being our guest today and encouraging all of us that are listening. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Guys, whether you've watched this live for the last 40 minutes, whether you're going to watch the replay, and I know many of you will, This is what it's all about. This is why the You Are Worthy Network was created. Even back in Danielle's darkest days, and she had plenty of them,
Mm-hmm.
probably the word that didn't come to mind for her was worthy. But she was. In God's eyes, she was. She
Mm-hmm.
was just as worthy then as she is on the mountaintop. It's our emotions that get in the way sometimes. But she was worthy then. You're worthy now. And you are worthy specifically of love, respect, and success. And just like with Danielle, God was not done with her story. At
Mm-hmm.
her absolute lowest, he was putting together an incredible plan to use her. Think about that. He's not done with your story yet either. Be inspired, fight another day, lift somebody up, shine your light as brightly as you can this day, because it's all we have. Tomorrow's not given, yesterday's gone. Let's live the best life we can for him today. Thank you guys for being a special, special part of the You Are Worthy Network. It's all about you. We couldn't do it without you. Blessings to you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. God bless.
How about